Hey guys, it's Preston. Today I have a haircut, my first haircut tutorial for you. It is a flat top, skin tight on the sides. This is a very tough flat top. This is probably the toughest flat top I do. It's very thick, very coarse hair, and he likes it tight. He likes that landing strip, they call it, on top where it looks bald. And if you notice in this haircut, the sides, we kind of round the sides a little bit, and that's by design. I've been cutting this guy's hair for years, and he's got so many growth patterns in his hair that you can't leave it straight across because it looks funny. He calls it horns. If you leave it straight across on the parietal ridge, it looks like he's got horns. So we round it a little bit and it works. So I guess if it works, it works. All right guys, here we go. Right here I'm starting my guide with my Andis outliners, my T outliners. My blade here is not zero gapped, but it's close. It's as close as I can get it where I feel comfortable using it on kids and whoever. I don't have to worry about somebody getting hurt or cut with my outliners. But right here I go up to where the parietal ridge starts. I usually don't take the T-edgers. As you can see here, I switched over to the Oster Octanes with the 5/0 blade, and I'm just debulking the haircut, getting it ready for the shaver. Right here, I'm sorry about the focus, guys. This is a new thing for me, so this is my first haircut tutorial. I'm working on it. Y'all forgive me. I think I figured out what causes it, how to keep it from happening. So hopefully next time it'll be good. Right here with the shaver, I have the shaver turned vertically, and it starts the skin line for me. I don't have it turned where it rounds with the shape of the head. It goes, I have it straight with the edge of the head, and it goes up straight. It doesn't round as the head rounds. I know it looks like it, but it doesn't. As I said in the intro to this video, this guy's hair is extremely coarse and extremely thick. So these Andis shavers, I mean, they're good shavers, don't get me wrong, but they struggle with very thick, coarse hair like this. Maybe not struggle, it just they're put to the test seriously, and they do a good job. I can't wait for the Babyless shavers to come out, the new ones, and I'm definitely buying them the day they come out. So I've watched some reviews on them, talked to some people that used them, and they're raving about them. So I can't wait to see them. I'll do a product review on them once I get them and try them out and see how they work, and I'll let you guys know what I think about them. I want you to also notice, after I do that initial skin line up at the parietal ridge, I also I have my clippers now, my shaver now going against the grain all the way up to where that line started, and it fades right in. There's no hard time taking that line out, and you can blend from what's there now with the Andis Masters, and I have them. They're not zero gapped either, but they're modified. They're as close as I can get them, where I don't have to worry about them cutting anybody or anything. But you won't have a problem taking that line out up top if you learn how to do that with a shaver, but you do have to be careful. Sorry again, guys, about the focus issue there. I did notice it, and I have tried to figure it out, and I think I have figured it out. So we'll see for the next haircut tutorial that I post and see how it does. I do have one more haircut. It's a high skin fade on a Spanish customer of mine. Really good guy. He's got pretty thick hair. It's not super thick and super coarse, but like this guy's, but it's pretty thick. And you can see here, I'm just doing the same thing to the opposite side of the head. I start my guide that tells me where to stop at, and then I come back with the Oster-Octanes with a 5/0 blade and take the rest of the hair off, getting it ready for the shaver. But the next video that I have coming up, the next haircut video, it's a high skin fade. It's like a military cut. This guy is funny, so y'all stay tuned, subscribe. It's a good haircut tutorial for you guys, and I'm sure that you'll be able to learn something from it. And here's the shaver again. You can see it better here, how it goes. You know, there's a definite skin line, and then it fades it up. You have to work at this. This takes some time learning the technique. You're not going to do it the first time, and you just gotta play with it. You gotta practice it. It's not something that's going to be done easily the first time you try it. So play with it. And right here, I'm going against the grain because his hair, this guy's got 4 million growth patterns in the top of his head. And right there, I was going against the grain just to make sure that I got it good and tight for him. When y'all use these shavers, I see some barbers, man, they'll start in the middle of the haircut, the stubble, and you know, you gotta bog the shaver down, and I've heard it pull. I've seen it pull people, and man, you gotta start on the edges of these and slowly ease your way into it. Once you get it going, you can move pretty good, but man, you gotta let the shaver do the work. You can't be pushing and pulling people's hair and stuff like that. You gotta just let the shaver do its job, and it will. Hold them ears down when y'all are doing these. Hold those ears down and really get around them. You don't want to push, you don't want to cut somebody, but you want to do a good job around those ears. It's a hard place to get, especially on this guy. Alright, right here I'm doing his beard. I already started the fade to skin when I was debulking this guy's hair. Now I'm taking, this is a 1 guard open, and I'm going against the grain. Excuse me, I'm going with the grain, because this guy doesn't really like a whole lot taken off of his beard. He just likes it cleaned up and it's curly. So if you go against or if you go with the grain, it just takes those hairs that are sticking up, takes them off, so it looks better. And you'll see me, I'll come back with my trimmers, and I'll just touch the edges up a little bit. This guy doesn't really like those really crispy, hard lines on his beard. I prefer to do them, but this guy doesn't like them. So listen, y'all got to listen to your customer and give each customer what they want. You can't, just because you like it doesn't mean it's what the customer wants. So do a good job in your consultation and really listen to your customer. And I was told when I first started, no matter how good of a haircut you give, if it's not what the customer wants, it's not a good haircut. So y'all remember that and give the customers what they want, and they'll come back to you, I promise. This guy gets excited. I've been cutting his hair for a long time. I think he is actually one of the first guys I gave a flat top to. And he's one of those customers that will talk to you the entire time you're cutting his hair. And it's funny because when he talks to you, he's got to turn and look at you. He's one of those customers. And I'm not making fun of him. He's a great guy, good friend of mine. I just find it funny that there's been several times over the years that I've almost messed his beard up because he wouldn't tell me something, got excited and turned and looked at me while I had the T-edgers by him. Or there was one time I almost poked him in the eye with a pair of, I have little small shears, and I was clipping his eyebrows with them. I know you can't, doesn't look like he has eyebrows right now, but, and you can see right here, I'm just cleaning the edges of his beard up. It's nothing major, just, he has little baby hairs all over his face, so I'm just kind of hitting those and getting them off. But I was trimming his eyebrows one day with a little pair of shears, and he went to tell me something and turned and looked at me and almost poked him in the eye, so y'all be careful. Right here, this is a Tomb 45 straight razor. Shout out to Chris Bossio and those guys. Man, this straight razor, I love it. I use the insert that allows it to be really exposed as much as possible, and it really works for me. So shout out to Chris and Tomb 45. I love this straight razor. If y'all don't have it, go get it. All right, right here, you see me freehanding this. Listen, guys, this is years of experience. You're not going to perfect this technique overnight. The first time I tried to do this on, I think it was on this guy that I learned this on, and man, you cannot follow the shape of the head. You'll see how I kind of flick out right here. See how I'm kind of flicking out, and I'm standing behind him looking down the line of the haircut. So you listen, guys, this is a great technique for me. It really helps me. It makes things a lot faster, but you got to be careful. This takes years of experience and doing it. So I'm not saying don't try it. Listen, try it, practice it, get good at it. This is going to save you time on your haircuts. But in the beginning, just be careful. And I do it all the way around his head. The back's the easy part. It's those sides, man. And I go in on this guy because it's what he likes. Normally I would go straight up, or this is a pretty large incline or angle that I go in on this guy. Normally I wouldn't go that far, but it's what my customer likes, so that's what I give him. And right here I come back and I make sure his head's straight. Notice right here, I don't come all the way to the front. I come to where the head starts to round, and then I work my way back with the flat top comb, making sure all I'm doing here is setting my guide in at the lowest point in the center of his head. Remember in the intro I told you guys he likes the the landing strip is what he calls it. It's that really almost shaved part right in the middle, and all I'm doing is getting that to where I want it. You see my comb's a little angled. Remember I told you guys I round this guy's flat top a little bit. Excuse me. I round this guy's flat top because if you leave it straight across, it looks like he has horns and he doesn't like it. So again, this is trial and error, figuring out what works for your customer and what they like, and then giving it to them. So you gotta learn your customer, learn what they like in their haircut, and be consistent with that every time. Right here, I'm just wetting his hair, getting it ready for some hairspray. Make sure it's good and wet. And this is Kenra hairspray, the 25 hold. Man, this stuff will make your head like a football helmet. It does a really good job with these flat tops, and it doesn't clog your clippers up. Right here, I'm just blow drying the hair. I'm getting every hair standing straight up. It's high heat and fast speed, so it's as high as the blow dryer will go. And once I get it standing up, I comb it back down and then comb it up again to get it standing up where I want it, and just making sure the hairs are standing straight up. And then I come around to the other side and do the same thing. The whole key here is making sure those hairs making sure those hairs are really stiff and standing straight up, as straight as you possibly can. And don't worry if at this point you see things out of place and sticking up. You're going to come back and with your clippers and fine tune everything. So your only job here is to get everything dried and tightened up and standing straight up. You can see in that last clip how tight it is on the top. And then I come back and start freehanding it again. Again, guys, y'all have to be careful doing this. It's a really good technique that served me well, and I wanted to show you guys, but just be careful. My clippers are closed doing it, but maybe open your clippers until you get the technique down. That way it gives you a little leeway so you don't jack somebody's head up. And then I come back and now I do the front. And normally on flat tops, you don't round it with the roundness of the head. You let it go straight out the head. But on this customer, again, this is a very custom flat top. Excuse me. He doesn't like it as tall as it would be if I let it go straight. So I do round his down a little bit in the front. And again, it's customer preference. It's what I've learned that he likes over the years. So it's just giving him what he wants. And not all customers like the same thing, but on this particular guy, it's what he likes. And we're just going through it and making sure everything's nice and flat. It's as flat as I can get it. With obviously there is some rounding to it, and that's just because of his head and the way his hair grows. You can see there it's pretty tight in the middle. Now I'm coming back with my Andis Slimline Pros, and this is just tidying up the line between skin and where the hair growth starts, and it's not a lot to mess with. This is just my OCD, and I go through and I see how I look at every angle, and I look at the haircut and make sure that there's no hair sticking out anywhere that I need to address. So this is just me kind of going through my haircut and making sure that it's what I want it to be. And I turn him, and I know I didn't fix the camera, and I